Buddy, this is Lethal Sales. Welcome. Tonight's topic is technology is our friend. And I didn't say that tongue in cheek. We really believe that, don't we, fellas and ladies? Um, we're talking about EVs and AI and how some people jumped right in and adopted right away versus some of us who are slow in adapting. Larry, you want to get started?
Sure.
Uh-oh.
I always hype myself as the least tech savvy person on the show, but I got to tell you, somebody remarked the other day, they saw my phone and they saw how many leads were on there, hundreds, and they said, "Do you have like an office or something?" I said, "I run my business off my phone, and I have an assistant to help me with the calls to set appointments, and I have an assistant to help me move the leads around." But I think technology is pretty much like everything else. If you use it properly and if you use it with the right attitude, you can make it work. And if you rely on anything too heavily, or if you use anything as a crutch, I think you're going to see a less than positive result. And I don't think technology is any wrong. I've made my position clear. If anybody wants an electric vehicle, get one. But for a government to say you can only have an electric car and everything else goes by the wayside is no good. So I think it's pretty inherent in the logic. Use whatever tools you have, use them as efficiently as possible. Understand that things are always changing, and with the way the world is now, it's changing faster than it ever did. So use it, embrace it, and don't worry about it. But Wendy's show is called the human side of AI. Devices that make us better and speed us along and connect the dots are great. Phone prompts that put us with 9 different people and then hang up on us are no good. Technology that sounds like a robot with no empathy is no good. So I think, tech, I don't know I'd have a whole different business if I didn't have an iPhone and I didn't have the availability to take leads and move them around wherever I go, however I go. So that's it. Probably now the next call is going to be Elon Musk, realizing now that I've embraced technology that he wants me to hang with him.
He wants to get you on his next board meeting. Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Trust me, if I was in his board meeting, it wouldn't be boring. Wouldn't make much sense, but it wouldn't be boring either.
Well, funny enough, one of his companies is called the Boring Company. So that's the one that builds all the tunnels. Anyways, Larry, you and I are basically at the polar opposite spectrums of technology. We recognize that and we understand it. But even at that level, I'm not a tech guy by any means. I understand how to embrace it in today's world and how to maximize it for our industry. When I started, and you can concur with this, Larry, there were no computers in our industry.
Correct. We thought a fax machine was deluxe technology.
Oh, fax machine. I remember when fax machines came in, our cordless phones had 40-foot cords on them. We used to walk around our offices with these ginormous cords on them so we could go look at cars in the showroom. And that was our advent of technology. How long can we get a phone cord? And we've embraced it over the years. We've come to the point where we've taken different thought processes and moved along with it. Leasing came out, and leasing became prevalent, and everything else. I remember looking for cars on microfiche, and there's only a handful of people who will understand what microfiche actually is. So have we embraced technology as we moved along? Yes. And no time more than today will technology actually be our best friend. And we can say that. You and I watched Russell go through his demonstration of his product and how fast and how efficient it is, and how much greater it can provide the experience for the consumer. We've sat with Jeff and gone through his process with his technology, and seen how much information that it can give us, and that intelligence. Larry, you and I, back when we were selling cars, we never had that kind of intelligence. We
Nope.
got Doug in the bottom there. Doug's technology on how it brings everything into a single spot and helps the people. And you know what? I've been promoting that for ever since I've met Doug, and that was over a year ago. And Wendy, like, the technology, without technology, Wendy's business couldn't exist.
Yeah, but hold on, hey, Peter, but one thing to take note of. I know a lot of really good nerdy guys, and they might be brilliant, but it's like they put me to sleep and they're annoying. One of the reasons that it works with Jeff and Doug and Mike Larkin and Wendy and Russell is they're really cool people along with the technology. Because I still think you need that to turn the wheel, right? The old thing, is it the message? Is it the messenger? I think it's both.
exactly.
And if you're Russell, you've never sat in one of my classes. You would be delighted. I go 3.5 hours and I have to throw people out for lunch. They don't learn one damn thing about cars. We talk about race, religion, sex, politics, history, the Bible, pornography, comics, physiology, sociology, and I torture them all. Okay.
Sort of like the call.
Yeah. Listen, I make it fun. And again, if you or Jeff or Wendy or Mike or Doug were boring, dry people, I think you'd have a more difficult time. You said Elon Musk. Who's a bigger character than Elon Musk? Who rubs against the rough side? Whether it was the big spliff he had on one of the shows or buying Facebook, right? It's the oldest thing in the world. The guy gets pissed off. So what does he do? He buys the company. I think it still comes down to wedding the two things. Because if you're an unbelievable geek and you have great technical stuff and nobody wants to talk to you on the phone, it's not easy. And if you're really funny, but you can't connect technology with what's really going on, you're in trouble. So as well as you salute what these guys have, we would have never got a chance to talk to Russell, except we love Russell. And Doug, man, Doug's such a good guy. And it's really scary because other than meeting him that one time in Vegas with his son, that's the first time I ever met Jeff Scherer face to face, but we've become best buddies. We've helped each other get work. And Larkin and I still haven't met, and I love the guy. So as much as I want to pay due respect to technology, still comes down to being a good, fun person. Anybody disagree?
Nope.
No, absolutely, and that's why I put that poll out there the other day. Was in what is the actual key to success in the dealership? Is it people, process, technology, or something else? And the majority have weighed in and said it's people. It's not tech. It's not process. They design everything else, but you know what? It is the people, and it always will be the people. So having said that, I want to hand it off, and I'm going to give it to the bobblehead in the corner there, wearing the career changers hat, Mike Larkin, because he never gets to speak first. So guess what, Mike? You're on the hot seat.
Oh, the hot
and Mike,
seat.
before you get started, you had called me the other night and asked me to devise a computer program for you. The only reason I don't have it for you yet is my abacus broke. But as soon as I get that damn thing up and running, you'll have what you need.
You know what? That abacus is a pain in the abacus. Anyway, sorry. Technology is our friend, okay? And it's a double-edged sword, okay? The stuff that's coming out now, for example, we're now able to have our clients choose their 10 local competitors and have ads placed on every visitor that goes into those 10 locations. And not only that, but follows those visitors around for a full year. Now, for our clients, they love it. For the person that one of the 10 competitors, this technology is going to be their worst enemy. So it's a double-edged sword, but those that are ignorant are going to suffer big time. I'm Mike, I'm dropping my mic.
Well, I also know that Google, their AI program, if you went to historical world leaders, all of a sudden, George Washington and the Pope were African American. So once again, it might be a triple-edged sword because they used to say crap in, crap out on a computer. And if the person that's putting in the information is biased or has an axe to grind, if you will, where the heck you going with that? You know, if what you, because listen, I'm a reader. I got a million faults. One good trait is I read everything on anything. It's why I can hopefully talk semi-intelligent on a lot of subjects. But the kids that are younger than us, everybody's younger than me, they don't read anything. You know what they do? They go to Google. And if it says it, it must be true. You know, Madonna's having Elvis's baby. He's not dead. So if the very fundamental concept of what the truth is now skewed, the hell do you do with anything else?
Well, so I agree with you there because we all complain in the dealerships when we go to use the CRM because no one's put the information in. No, the information that's going in is no email at gmail.com. All of these things that frustrate us as humans drive us nuts because of technology. And April said it best on the call today about not having the opt-out being properly assigned. And it's going to cost a lot of money because of technology. And it's because technology doesn't want to talk to each other. And it's because no one finds it important for that to happen. And no one demands it. Well, we all demand it, but the legacies don't care. And
Peter, that's always been endemic. You're going to get Russell back on his kick with saying it's the same as 1954. Because how many times are service and sales at odds with each other instead of in lockstep?
exactly.
Russell, I go
Larry,
over
be
to
careful. Larry, be careful. You don't open a can of worms that you can't get back in the can, brother.
Listen, I'm Jewish. You're not going to see me fishing. I don't need the damn worms. Okay. Now I have April here. April, Russell's trying to make me a Jewish fisherman. He must think it's back to Jesus part 2, but that's a whole nother biblical story. April, how are you? It's very nice to see you.
I'm good. So sorry that I missed last week, and sorry I'm running a little bit late. But yeah, working hard. Things are busy, and as everyone predicted, we've got a lot of people stressed and frustrated right now. So it's added another layer to my plate of psychologist April Simmons here to report.
April, I love you, and I told some people in class that I had a big giant class. I'm going to get a ton of people hired. I said, folks, don't worry. In 100 years, you'll all be dead and none of this will matter. For some reason, it didn't seem to cheer them up, April, but I thought the logic was impeccable,
I think the logic is actually great. I mean, after marrying my husband, I'll be honest, I think the logic's totally in line because it actually, when I got married and realized that my husband who actually deals with life and death, I suddenly am like, on my worst day, all I do is sell cars. Like
what does
get
your
over
husband
yourself.
do, April? What does your husband do?
He's a border patrol agent.
Okay. Well, you know what? God bless him. Because man, do I have respect for people doing impossible jobs. I just didn't know because when you said life and death, I'm from Philadelphia. He could be a hitman. It's as I always say.
I will tell you, he is also a firearms instructor and a national EMT. So he can totally blow you up and hit you right on, but also fix you.
I like that. I like that.
Me too.
I'll take the curse words out so I don't get in trouble. Russell, do you know why Italians don't like Jehovah's Witnesses?
No.
Italians don't like any witnesses. It's a trend.
Oh, there you go. I love it.
You tell your husband that a whole bunch of crazy people that were on a program with you love him and respect him, and we appreciate him. And now let me ask you a question. I am Jewish. I'm probably the only member of my family that's not a lawyer, so I have lawyers abundant. If he was to make an errant shot when Biden was at the border, tell him he'll have all the support he needs from this crazy Jewish recruiter trainer. Okay, and it's probably be doing a public service. You know what I mean?
Probably, but I will say he is quite the rule follower. So yeah, he's what he says at home and under his breath. I've always promised to keep that.
Well, wait a minute. If he's going to be a rule follower, then I don't know if you understand this, the inner workings of our government. But the rule is if Joe Biden, God forbid, passes away or is assassinated, the Secret Service is immediately supposed to shoot Kamala. It's that eventuality is too scary. So just let them know that we got his back. I just made Russell happy.
Well, yeah, first of all, you need to learn to pronounce her name right. So, I mean, I'm just saying.
Well,
I'm just jacking with you.
Here are my buttocks, and she can kiss him anytime she wants. Okay, a border czar that never.
See, look what happened. You got in the matrix, Larry.
I'll call her anything I want. Okay,
All I heard was
that
I
happens.
won.
That happens.
I think that was a little divine intervention. You went into the matrix. 'Cause
Yeah.
You shouldn't have been saying what you were saying.
I knew they were following me. See, this is what happens with these Democrats.
Put your foil helmet on.
All right, moving on. Moving on, my crazy.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Peter. April got us off the track. You know, I try to adhere to whatever fundamentals we're going to work on, but didn't work.
Not and you know what though, not my fault today. Like I usually completely take y'all off the track, but today that was not my fault. So Larry, you got to take that one. That was your fault this time.
Okay, I'll let you get away with that fluffy.
Okay, good.
Fluffy crap.
So in moving forward,
What were we talking about?
we were
Who
talking
knows
about
with me?
we're trying to use the matrix to calm Larry down.
Oh,
We're trying the whole thing is the adoption of technology, be it EV or AI and every other single acronym out there that we can use. CRMs, DMS, this, that, whatever. It is our friend. And how do we get the people that we employ, work with, counsel, coach, train, everything else to embrace it? And that's the key factor in this. And I'm going to lead this over to my good friend Doug in the bottom there and get his answer, because he's all about the experience and bringing on that dealership experience, whether it's internally or externally. So I'd love to hear, how do we get people to embrace technology, Doug? Did Doug step away from the phone? Quite possibly.
he could be talking.
That's
Could be.
another case.
Doug is muted.
Doug is muted. Okay, so Doug's probably stepped away from the phone. He's just
But
listening.
Wendy had her hand up.
Wendy,
Let's hear from Wendy.
absolutely. Go
Well,
ahead.
Actually, this is just not my whole spiel. This is just a momentary comment on what you guys are talking about opt-ins for texting. And I'm sorry I haven't listened to the transcript from our call this morning yet.
It
But
was a freaking amazing call this morning.
that's what I heard, and I'm so proud of all of you, and I'm so happy to be associated with all of you on this human side of AI venture, because it's truly, once it catches fire, which there are already sparks that increase week to week, and as we get more people in to collaborate on the whole idea. I just want to say, to your point about that somebody would say it's been around since the 80s, live example, and we're working with a list doing outbound service where we're getting the list from wherever we're getting the list from, the DMS, and we're dealing with customers that are in a scheduler X time, right? And I'm asking my team, like when we started this list, which is a huge list, and they were like just pounding it and just appointments one after the other, but now they're coming into a large majority, either no longer own their vehicle, or they've moved out of the Arizona area and they can't come to Arizona for service, right? So, we can send out dispositions via email to that effect, but then a human's got to update the record. So what's within our power, we update the scheduler. But the problem is the scheduler doesn't communicate well enough both sides with the DMS. So even if we update X time, the DMS has no idea. And the next list that they generate from the DMS are not going to have that no longer owns the vehicle or moved out of the area because it didn't integrate or communicate the information back from X time. So that's a prime example right there without even introducing AI. So I just wanted to make that point.
And,
But the
and that was basically one of the points that April brought up this morning in the call, was that no one's talking to each other. And if someone comes in and opts out as with everything that's coming down from the FTC, and if someone opts out and we still continue to contact them through a different platform because it's not communicating, and we're not going through our cleansing process, or that the manufacturer sends out something, as April said, the manufacturer sends something out through using technology to try and drum up business for us, but the customer has said, please don't contact us, puts us in a liable position. And
yeah,
and that's where we have to potentially come up with a solution through someone like Tim Hayden that is using CDPs and LMMs and all the other acronyms that I have no idea what they do, but I know what they do. We got to get ahead of this, and it's only we have to embrace it. And if we don't, we're going to be not only behind times, but we're going to potentially be fined and potentially be in deep trouble. And the only thing that's going to save us is potentially cyber insurance.
Hey,
Well,
Doug's unmuted, but just one thing
Yep.
before we hear.
I
Every dealer
apologize.
knows this. No, it's all right, Doug. Let me throw this at you, and then we want to hear your thing. Every dealer knows there's an immense fine for not being careful with information. And you can still walk into any dealership in the United States and see a driver's license laying on somebody's desk. So, you know, while we're trying to amend and fix this, we still have to allow for the foibles of human beings, and particularly some of the cavalier behavior of salespeople.
Exactly.
And managers, I guess, if they don't drum it in.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Doug.
So I apologize. Speaking of technology, mine wasn't working well. But to answer your question, Peter, because you said, how do we get people to embrace the technology, get our people to use it? I think the first thing you do is you do a tech audit. You find out what pieces of technology isn't working for the people, what pieces of technology is causing redundancies, and then find the solution that they agree will help them do their jobs better. I think that Brian Benstock put it really well a couple of years ago when he said, technology shouldn't replace our people, it should make their jobs easier. And that's the lens through which everybody has to look at technology and embrace it that way. But too often it's just dealers or leaders within the stores just glom onto a piece of technology because it seems like it's the fat thing to do, but it really doesn't do much to help the overall experience. And so I think they really need to start with their people, audit what they have, and then make decisions moving forward.
Exactly.
Also, Doug, how about if managers and tech people hand in hand? I know everybody's a little nervous with new technology, but let us show you how easy it is to use and how helpful it could be. You know, the carrot and stick. If you use it, this is your rewards. Because nobody likes to feel dumb and nobody likes to feel like they're lost in the sauce. But if we can embrace and say, hey, the elephant in the room is this is a little scary, don't be scared. Here's how it works. Here's how it'll help you. I think that would be helpful.
Well, truly, I mean, one of the things that's really critical to any company bringing technology in is, one, you better understand what the dealership's going through. You better have a working knowledge of how dealerships run. And then you better have boots on ground when it's installed. So you're there to hold hands, to make people not worried about it and to show them how it works. Because, you know, you're dealing with multiple generations now in dealerships. And some generations are like, I'm not doing it. And others are like, I'm all over it. Everybody's got to be equally comfortable.
Agreed. And I'll just piggyback on that. I watched 2 demonstrations of 2 different technologies this week. I watched Russell go through his platform, and I watched Jeff go through his platform. And Jeff was setting up his platform for me, for my calling, and how interesting and invigorating it can be to learn a new skill set. I'm still probably about 20% capable on Jeff's platform. Russell's platform, oh geez. If I was to say something, Russell is the Elon Musk of fixed ops marketing. And where he went through his platform, showed us how to change everything, did everything in seconds, and basically explained to us how easy it was. And no disrespect to my good friend Russell, but for a gentleman that came to this world about the same approximate time that I did, to take that task and to learn it and to be that proficient is absolutely amazing. So, and again, no disrespect to Russell, if Russell can be that proficient, there's not a person out there that can't be in that position either.
Hey,
And
Peter, we got Joshua Taylor. Why don't we ask him to see, what he's encountering,
well,
problems, successes.
Josh is
tying
with
in
fixed ops marketing too. So let's see how he believes in it.
Yep, but a different perspective than Russell. Different things in company. Josh,
we've
what are you
got two questions,
and
right?
what's negative?
So we got 2 questions fundamentally is how do we get people to adopt technology, and how easy is fixed ops marketing to use? Have I got that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, if I can figure it out, anybody can figure it out. It's possibly one of the simplest, most easy to use, non-conglomerate platform I've ever seen. Typically, the kind of functionality you get out of a platform.
Just so you know, Josh, just so you know, the answer to your earlier question, yes, you'll get a raise tomorrow. Anyway, go ahead. I'm just shagging with you.
At least someone's getting paid.
Is that who you're bringing next week, Russell?
No, because he works for me. Can't do that. I can't use Martha. I can't use Tony T. So I got a guy that I think he's on Clubhouse. His name is Ryan Baum, and he is yeah. You'll like.
Sorry, I'm just teasing. Just teasing.
No.
Carry on.
I told him. I said, look, some of these people you're going to know, but they're going to drill you. I'm just saying. Go ahead.
So fundamentally, when you look at platforms out there, and you're as whether you're a service director, fixed ops director, service manager, GM of a store, and they're trying to vet software solutions, whether it's web-based, whether it's for the website, whether it's a landed on your desktop independent kit, or God forbid a kiosk. They have the biggest thing that I see the challenge of all of them is that it takes so much time to even functionally explain what the super awesome features and benefits is. And having this discussion today with somebody else, that it takes so much time to do that I think even us at Fixed Ops Marketing, we can do a much better job of explaining what it is that we do, how awesome it is in a shorter period of time, because these people don't have time. So from all of the demonstrations that I've been part of on the other side of the desk as a service manager and fixed ops director, people would waste my time for hours. I remember being on a demo for like almost 2 hours, and like, brother, we had this scheduled for 20 minutes, and I need to be respectful, but at the same time, I need to get off this call. It's like, well, are you interested in the product? It's like, to be completely honest, it looked great, but I have zero desire to do anything with you because it took you 2 hours and I still don't know what you do. So from a concept of adopting technology, not just salespeople, but marketing as well, we need to make sure that we're communicating well to our ICP as to who we are, what we do, and how we make them more successful. On the opposite side of the coin, because that works on both, is how awesome fixed ops marketing is and adopting technology. But adopting technology, I wrote about this past weekend. The average service individual, the average technician has 9 pieces of software that they have to touch. 9. And most of the time, at least from coaching, technicians aren't receiving any formal training on any of the 9.
Yeah.
None. So, and only some of them actually have proprietary training. Like I go back to 2010, 2009, when I think it was 2010, 2009. I might be wrong. It's going back a long way. But when ADP turned into CDK and some of the functionalities trained, CDK has proprietary training, but none of the other software that attached to it did.
Yeah.
And because it changed to CDK, none of the integrations worked. Things were just breaking. So when we would call support for help as a technician, going, hey, I need to, I'm flagging hours, I'm trying to get on the next work order. The service manager has no idea what he's doing. The service advisors don't know what they're doing. They just say, go to the training. Well, the training doesn't cover going from ADP to CDK. And our reps for things, now I don't even remember what we were using back in 2010, but consider it X time. We didn't have an active X time rep at the time. So it was literally calling X time corporate, whatever it was. And they had no idea what was going, because you're talking about a multinational conglomerate making a massive merger change and didn't tell anybody until the day of. Right? So when you're talking about technology adoption, going back to something that Peter said earlier, and realistically speaking, referencing the conversation we had this morning on the human side of AI, nobody's talking to each other, right? We need to do a much better job of talking to each other. And yet again, we bring the conversation back to communication.
Exactly. So
Hey, we didn't hear from Jeff Scherer, Peter. After you
No.
make your comment, let's get our boy Jeff in here. He's always got something smart to add.
So our good friend John Lacka, the mad professor out from Nova Scotia, he came up with something great this week on the Auto Hub show when we were all on it, and it was CPR, communication, process, and relationships. The business needs CPR right now, and we're not communicating, and that is the biggest challenge there. We don't know what's going on, and we need to do these audits, we need to do these assessments, we need to do these tech drives. We just don't understand and don't have the knowledge base of what is actually happening at the dealership level. Like I've heard so many times that dealerships saved $20,000 this month. Why? Because they did an audit on how many overlapping programs that they have, and that's basically the truth of it all. They're finding out that these 3 programs can now be solved by this one program, and it's going to save them $5,000. But having said that, Jeff's program finds money for us. And go ahead, Jeff. Give us your scoop on how you feel that technology is your friend.
So, first of all, I think you asked a question, Peter, a few minutes ago, like, what do we need to do to get people to adapt to technology? Well, why are the reasons that there's so many failures when dealerships put in new CRM tools? Number one, they're telling their employees, you have to do this, so they're slamming it at them. And number two, they're not saying what the employee gets out of it, the WIFM. They're not clearly expressing the benefit. Hey, you know what? We're going to have a little pain for the first month, but after that, you're going to have 3 times the efficiency to do these things that took us 4 screens to do before. My platform does have a lot of nuts and bolts in it. And, I strive to do everything to create this one button that does everything. And I can't do that, but that's kind of how I think. And truly, my platform's not built for clients to go in and manage their stuff. That's me. You know, all you have to do to use my platform is answer your phone or make a phone call. All the other things that happen, you know, is really stuff that I set up, you know, and I think that's true with almost every business, you know, and especially in the car business. They don't care about the technology. And Mike and I have talked about this in depth, you know. Yeah, we've got cool stuff, and it's because Mike and I are tech guys, we can go off in the weeds,
Yeah.
you know, to show them
So-
stuff, but they really just care about the output. You know, no customer of Amazon cares about how complex the back end of that is and how
No.
cool everything works. It just works, right?
Yeah. So having said that, I'm gonna pose a quick question to our good friend April here, and then it's gonna piggyback into Wendy, and basically, Jeff and I had a conversation the other night. How many phone calls do you think your parts department gets it in a day, April? Well, you're muted.
I'm
There she
muted.
is.
You know, it varies a lot between my stores. On the high side, I get around, on a daily at Kia, I probably get around 400.
Okay.
And some of my small stores, I might get 10 to 15. So I mean, there's a
Okay.
wide variety
Okay.
on my
So-
different stores.
So let's just take Kia for example. You got your Kia store doing 400 phone calls a day in your parts department, and that your parts advisors are sitting there and all they're doing is punching out numbers. They're in their computer going, yeah, this part costs X. The conversion rate, whatever the conversion rate, you have that factor in that. But here's the benefit of using technology. We can turn around and we can take those phone calls, ascertain what the value of each one of those phone calls was, and then go after the non-converted ones based on a value system and a priority system. And it's there. And that this is something that then you just hand that off to someone like Wendy's team and you say, hey, Wendy, I need you to call these people because I've had 400 calls, 350 of them were over this value. We didn't convert on them. And we want you to call those people on priority basis. What can we do? The technology is there. We're just not using it to the maximum that we can embrace it with.
Okay, Peter, some of that's right, but I'm going to also challenge and circle back to my conversation this morning. How am I getting that PI to Wendy? How am I giving it to her? Because ultimately, I'm either now taking a non-employee and having to put them into my systems, right? Which is right now what we do because of MFA. MFA like helped in one section, but it created a whole nother problem, which is now that I have to actually put vendors in as if they're an employee because they have no way to actually get the data any other way, right? Or I have to download this information and then send it. And most dealers, when they are sending that information, so the dealers that actually do a good job, Peter, of saying, hey, yeah, here's the low-hanging fruit, go get them, Tiger. You know how they're sending that information? Via CSV and an email. That's how they're doing it.
Yeah.
That's how they're doing it. And that's the ones that actually will do it. Because your biggest problem, Peter, your real issue is that the most of them won't do it. And the biggest problem, the biggest hurdle I actually have is the fact that the humans refuse to do anything different than what they've always done, regardless of the fact that I can paint a picture, regardless of the fact that I can prove they can make more money, regardless. And so, especially in fixed ops, I've had a much bigger issue getting them to drink Kool-Aid and participate in their own success. They genuinely do not believe that marketing dollars should go toward fixed ops at all. Like we shouldn't spend anything. People have no choice. They have to come here and they have to deal with the way we treat them and they have to this and that. And parts, unfortunately, has a lot of the same type of mentality. And I don't understand it, because to me, whether you're in fixed ops or in variable, we're all selling something.
Exactly.
And selling means customer service. It means following up. It means why buy here? Why buy from me? And the only way I make money is if you buy something from me. If you buy nothing from me, I make $0.
Right.
So like the mental concept of it all is the part that just fires me up. But I have to tell you that in a lot of cases, what I find vendors doing is solving the wrong problems. So like Russell, I support 100% what you do, because what you've done is you've automated a situation that you know that you're not going to get a fixed ops director on the phone every week telling you what specials are what, or giving you an idea of what we should be advertising, or any of those things.
Right.
It has to be automated.
Yep.
And the same fashion of these phone calls, Peter, is that stuff, that low-hanging fruit has to be done in an automated fashion. It goes back to somebody saying something earlier about having 18 platforms. If I showed you how many
Oh my
logins I
God.
have right now, you would be like, that's unreal.
I got to
And
ask
somebody-
you, out of all those programs that you would log into, how many of them do you actually log into just because of time? And
Oh, like none of them. Like none of them. I literally, Russell, when somebody tells me dashboard, I'm like, dashboard should be in the swear jar, because it is worse than any other swear word I could say right now. And I obviously have a lot of them I could say, but dashboard for me ranks up there as numero uno of negative words to say to April Simmons, because I don't give two dilly squats about your fancy dashboard, right? And I certainly don't care about having one for every individual vendor out there. Now, I'm a
April,
supporter.
one of these days, you and I are going to talk, and I'm going to show you what we're doing. You'll go, oh my God, I should have looked at this a year ago. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I actually, like, shockingly enough, I finally found a solution that the Horn Auto Group can stomach cost-wise, that I am in the middle of, that I'm really excited about, because it is a dashboard, but it brings in my DMS, my CRM, my Google Analytics. It brings it all in, and makes it's a way that I can also do enterprise. So I'm basically creating my own 20 group reporting within my 20 group.
That.
And guess what? It pulls my CRM data faster than my CRM can do it.
Yeah,
Like,
isn't that's the crazy thing, that when we look at what technology.
Okay, let me say, y'all got to allow me at least 5 minutes towards the end, because you just flat out got me freaking fired up, and I got some things I have to say.
Absolutely, Russell. So
okay, but to piggyback, sorry, go ahead, Peter.
no,
you
go ahead.
You got me fired up. You got me fired up.
No.
After our call this morning, though, I had already had a call lined up, because I have had in my mind that there's got to be a fix for this. I'm so sick and tired of being held a victim to our data on one hand, right? Like, I am held hostage to my own data, but yet on the other hand, I'm also held completely to standards of the laws, and I'm the only one responsible. So no control on one side, held hostage by said data, charge me to get access to said data, and then on the same hand, have no responsibility, all responsibility on the dealer. I mean, I don't know what kind of marriage this is, but it isn't one that benefits me. It looks like we, the dealers, did a really bad job on our prenup. Okay. So what I mean in this case is we've got to find a solution. I think I found the solution this morning. It's a much longer conversation, and I won't go down the rabbit hole, but I think I finally actually figured out the right workaround that would allow me to not be held hostage, to check mark all the boxes I need to, and be able to automate a lot of the things that are necessary to be automated, because the humans can't or won't. And sometimes it's a little of both. Sometimes it's not a matter of they don't want to do it. It's a matter of they genuinely can't. Like, watch what a advisor goes through in a day, and then you tell me that they're just an epic failure. It might not be the case. It might just be that they don't have time to add something to their plate, right?
So
April, they've got to be automated, because everybody knows that your website is essential to your business. Look at most dealers' websites. They show pictures of cars with snow on them, and it's July.
Oh, you can thank the OEM for that shit, Larry. Put me in. You can thank the OEM for that, because the OEM pushes that crap. Most of that is not done by the dealer.
Rhonda, do we
so-
give her a discount? Because she said dashboard a couple times, and she said that's theoretically a worse swear word than.
Yeah, that's a new
We'll see
one,
if we
but
can
that's
get you a
okay. The
discount.
jar's empty, so
So having said that, and what you brought up there was something that I'm very, very passionate about. Job descriptions and job responsibilities and what we're actually asking our teams to do that has no reasoning to be anywhere near their purvey. And it is, as you said, you talk to the service advisor and you're telling the service advisor that they have to do X amount of ROs a day and keep control of them. They're ready to be hanging from the rafters at the end of a week because you're forcing them to do that. You're asking your sales managers to do this, to do this. The whole description level of what they're responsible for has to change.
But Peter, first you have to define it.
Yeah.
There's an old exercise, everybody's seen it or done it. You ask 10 people to write down what they think the value is of a used car, and you get 10 incredibly different answers. What I used to do every year was have my managers write down a description of what they thought their responsibilities were, and then correlate that with what I was expecting. It's the old
Exactly.
thing. It's like having a great navigation system, April, and you don't plug it in or put the coordinates in.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And this is the challenge that we experience all the time in this business. We're looking for change, yet we're not willing to embrace it. And
Hey, Peter, I don't want to see Russell Hill's head explode. Let's give him a couple minutes to explain why his process makes sense, why it's easy, why it's automated. Russell, you're up.
I don't want to talk about that. My head is freaking exploding. Okay. I can talk. And yes, a lot of people know me, and just like you two the other night, when you humbly, wanted to see my technology, what you thought and what you saw were like not even remotely close to each other. I think Mike Larkin probably the same thing, but I don't want to talk. I want to save that for another time. So I spent hours and hours and hours and notes and notes and notes, preparing for 3 workshops I did at NADA and 2 at Digital Dealer on AI. And I got 5 books on my desk, a journal, and I don't got any freaking time. So the time that I'm investing is with time like people like you that get it, understand it. I can't even imagine in 2 years from now, 3 years from now, if we were all still talking and we were watching this from 2 to 3 years earlier. We have no clue what's fixing around the corner. It's moving freaking so fast. It's the greatest transference of time ever. And I believe, unfortunately, a third of the people they're going away. They're going away. A third are going to be new jobs created, and the other third, their job descriptions are going to change. And and part of it's going to include AI and other types of technology. I believe that they're going to have to adapt it to even be successful. I don't care if it's automotive or anything else, but I do believe the greatest opportunity right now is in automotive. But I have to share something with you. So the situation today, and this is something I used in one of my workshops, many jobs in the agriculture sector were becoming automated. 100 years ago, just 100 years ago in 1900, farming used to make up 41% of the American workforce. 41%, 100 years ago. A century later, their share decreased to just 2%. If Americans had been told a century ago that due to new technologies and innovation, farmers, as a share of the workforce, would fall by 95%, most would probably consider it to be frightening news. What are people going to do? How could they have possibly imagined that people would become social media managers, app developers, cloud computing specialists, information security analysts, drone operators, solar and wind energy? This is amazing. This is amazing. And unfortunately, I'm not going to invest my time in the 95% of the people that don't get it. I will love them where they're at. I will listen and I will engage. But if they seem resistant to change, that is their deal and that's optional. It's coming. And if you don't adapt, oh well, au contraire, don't go there because the branches are bare. I want to read you something else that I wrote. And like I said, we can talk about that later. I don't even think most people, I was fascinated with this. So I said, I'm going to have to share this with all of you. AI has been around for 70 years. The term artificial intelligence was first coined by John McCarthy in 1956. And the first AI research conference was held that same year. It's amazing. The seeds of AI were planted much earlier in the early 1900s. Mathematicians and philosophers began to explore the possibility of creating intelligent machines. In 1950, Alan Turing published the famous paper, Computing Machinery and Intelligence, which proposed a test of machine intelligence that's still used today. I could go on and on and on. I just don't understand how people cannot, what is this? Yeah, say that people, I know, how do we get them to adapt? It is unfortunate that 95% of the population get their information from the same 95% of the population that have less, that what they have are less than what they have, and they wonder why the hell they don't have anymore. Because they're not in rooms like this. People that are thinking, people that are making mistakes, people that are failing. Oh, I failed so many times. It's not even funny. And all of you have too. Or you wouldn't even be here. You wouldn't be listening to this because you would think it's crap. Y'all don't know what you're talking about. Closed-minded, resistance to change, afraid of getting outside of their comfort zone. And it's unfortunate that people are just that way. And
and don't forget, Russell, because you've done your research, Turing, who did such a remarkable job in World War II with translating Nazi codes,
yep,
was basically left in disgrace because he was a homosexual.
Great. Listen.
Fucking there.
Hey, listen, what the hell was I talking? Oh, yeah. Listen, AI is everywhere. It's in places that we're not even talking. It's everywhere. It's everywhere around us. So here's what it's like. Where's it at? I think I explained this. It's 2006. Remember the phones you had in 2006? Trio, Palm Pilot, Moto, Razr, flip phone, etc. So this is an iPhone. I'm an Android guy. It's not really, but let's pretend like it's an iPhone. No reference point. This is where we're at today with all the stuff we're talking about. In 2006, try to explain to people with the crap they had back then what was going to happen. And when this released in 2007, it was going to revolutionize the world. They'd call you insane. You're an idiot. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. There's no such, no. This is more powerful than what we went to the moon with. I mean, it's amazing. If you can't, I don't have time for people don't get excited about this because $1 trillion in wealth is going to exchange hands in the next few years. And it's going to be in this right here. You all are going to be in places. I got goosebumps. You all are going to be in places that, I mean, like I said, do you believe me in 2 or 3 years, if we're talking about or watching this and we're all getting together, joking, I mean, it's like, wow, we're all on the cutting edge. We're learning just a few minutes a day. Like all of you, I spend an enormous amount of time because even 15 minutes a day is 96 hours a year. That puts me in the top 5% worldwide of what people know about this technology. And some of you are into it even more than that. I mean, it's just, I don't get it. Sorry. Yeah. And yeah.
Can I just throw
Russell,
out before
I
we
don't
end
want to
up
scare
here?
you. I don't want to scare you, Russell, but I don't think you're going to be able to move this program further if you keep showing this lack of passion. I think you need to be a little bit more involved.
Wait. How about what Google did with their prompts for photographs? Show me a picture of George Washington.
Yeah, I said right, but he was black and the Pope was black.
Yeah.
And the guy, wait a minute, Rhonda, and the guy that did it had shown that his preferences were said that he hated America and everything in America is based on racism. That's why he did it.
He said it has to be diversity based. So show me a picture of George Washington and you get a black woman in traditional African garb. And they lost $70 billion because of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They'll get it back. Now's the time to buy it. I'm just telling you. Hey, listen, if you can afford $2,000 a share. So imagine as much time as we spend with our fingers on this. Okay. In the next year, nobody will be touching this. It'll be all voice. It's just amazing. And we get to share in this together. We have the human side of AI to get this is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. People say, man, I need to get into that. I need to listen. And they're going to feel they're so far behind the 8 ball. But what I've found in the human side of AI and places like this where we're talking about it, hey, that's okay, man. We all learn at different levels. You're here. The point is, you're here and you're listening. Don't be afraid to say anything. It's okay. It's okay. Be vulnerable. Say it. How do you think we learned? How do you think we're learning right now? Sorry, I just had to say all that. Maybe next time I'll talk about my technology.
I'm so
Jeff
happy
has
we
his
have
hand
this
up.
on
Go
tape.
ahead, Mr. Scherer.
So air is 2/3 AI, right? How do you describe air to someone? And it's the same thing, you know, everybody, and I think I said this last week, but Mike and I weren't there, but everybody at NADA was flying the AI flag, right? I've heard that from everybody.
Yeah.
But are you really? Or what does AI mean to you?
Yeah.
You know, when we say, yeah, dealerships need to use AI, well, what does that mean? You've got to
Right.
get very, very
Good point.
specific. You know, my AI listens to the conversation that just happened at the dealership, you know, and we extract stuff from that. Again, quicker than anybody can listen to the call, right? So, you know, again, my use is very specific and it's
Yeah.
very narrow.
Good point, Jeff.
So I think everybody's got to define
Yeah.
what AI means to them.
Yeah, because when you're talking to me about it, it's text and voice on with my company.
Yeah, and it changes. Technology, and this is what I've always said about digital retailing at a dealership.
And this is some exciting stuff.
Digital retailing is specifically anything that uses technology in a dealership to convert revenue. So it could be text, it could be voice, it could be a computer, it
Yeah.
could be a website, it could be social. That's all digital retailing. But the challenge is majority of dealerships, not you, April, because you're ahead of the game on
Yeah, April's in
so
the
many
top 5%.
so many levels. Most dealerships think digital retailing is specifically lead generation.
Hey, Peter, we're up against time, but I see Wendy has her hand raised.
That's not
That's
Wendy.
Fred.
That's Fred.
Oh,
Well, after Bruce Jenner, who can tell anyway, you know?
No, anyways, no, listen to Russell. And my daughter, Sarah, she works for American Express. She's a director there. And I asked what she does. Something about voice and that. It's okay, but tell me about it. I can't tell you about it. Like top secret stuff. She can't even tell her dad about it. And it's about the same stuff you're talking about, Russell, about voice and text and that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
it's all about understanding the customer, and when I say understanding the customer is actually getting the mental DNA composition of that client.
Yeah.
And that's what we're experiencing.
I'm excited. So I as many times as I talk to people about the human side of AI or AI, they say, well, what's it all about? I said, I'm not going to freaking try to explain it to you. Hell, I'm trying to figure it out. You want to find out? Show up, and you can find out.
Exactly. And it's a challenge. And it's like Larry asked you the other night, give us a 30-second elevator pitch about what you do. Well, sometimes you just can't do it. You can't explain it. You can't explain what the human side of AI is. It is a room that has so many industry titans in it from all different aspects that will give you opportunities to expand your knowledge. Whether you're looking
right.
and it's whether you're looking at it from a vendor side, a consumer side, a dealer side, all these different opportunities, they're all there. And it's very, very significant that we have to turn around and say, hey, maybe an elevator pitch doesn't need to be have.
Peter, and I'm going to take exception. I think it's simple. What is the human side of AI? It's taking the brilliant technology that was unimaginable a few years ago and wedding it with human traits that can't be duplicated, like empathy, and a smile. At least that's what I think of it as.
For me, I look at the AI is augmented intelligence, meaning that it's adding to our abilities as humans. It's not artificial. It even though it is, but it's augmented intelligence. It's happening so we can turn around and do a better job at what we're doing for and I'm going to say it right now, for our customers, not for our dealerships, not for our OEMs, not for anybody. It's for our customers.
That's what it's all about.
In the end, it's our customers who pay us.
That's right.
Cool. Does anybody have anything else? Obviously, we've got everybody
Shit, I
involved.
got another hour in me, baby. Come on. I'm just kidding.
I love that, Peter. I really do. Because you
Yeah,
hear
that was
people
great.
like people that are trying to, even people in my space in the outsource space. And, you know, I love like one person in particular, like Matt Raymond. He's a wonderful guy, got a great company, Bowtie Solutions, does outbound service, outsourcing, fabulous guy. And he said actual intelligence. I love that too. I love all those takes on it, augmented intelligence. The fact is it's something that's going to help us to be better so that we can better serve our customers, given the advances and new technologies and everything else and the evolution of our industry as a whole in the last 20 years. It's using the tools we have at hand to create the best customer service experience we can create. And of course, sell more cars doing it, but it's all the above. The human side is all of the above. It's the glue it's the bridge that we're going to bridge the same gap. And like you said at the top of the show, we've always had to bridge the gap between sales and service. Now it's sales and service and technology and marketing and everything else, because April knows 15 years ago in internet sales, we wore the marketing hat as well. We uploaded the specials into the back end of the website. We did all of it. Now we've got 5 people doing that same job, and there's no communication between the fingers. They're not all working. The hand is not working in an effective manner because the fingers are all going in different directions. That's what the human side is. It's making everybody work together as a good, strong fist to effect change in our industry.
Exactly. And I agree with you 100% there, Wendy. It's again, we're looking at a redefinition of this business. We're going to redefine everything we do, change the job descriptions, change everything, because AI is going to free up opportunity, and it's how we scale it. We talked about it the other day, that if we take AI and we drive it so that it's going to give us an extra 20% of efficiency, well, what are we going to do with it? That's where we're going to get the other people involved, and that's where we're going to scale. And
cool. Does anybody else have any thoughts or comments? It seems like everybody was firing on all cylinders tonight. Anybody have anything else before we roll out?
Yeah.
The old man said he had another hour in him, but he's usually in bed by now. You need to get to bed so you've got full energy tomorrow, brother. We got some Lexus to close.
Listen, I love you guys. This is, I just eat this up. So yeah, normally in 30 minutes, I'd start, pretending like I'm going to sit next to my wife on the couch and kick the chair back. And by 7:45, she's waking me up because I'm snoring too loud. She said, come on, let's go to bed, because I get up so damn early in the morning. And we're made for each other. For those of you who met my wife, April, she's an awesome individual, awesome woman. Yeah. So I'm so fired up now. It's like I just turned on the juices. So I got like 15 or 20 emails. I think I'm going to go ahead and knock those out tonight then, instead of waiting until 4:30 in the morning. No, really, I enjoy this. I appreciate each and every one of you. You're such an important part of my life. I'm just telling you, I love it.
And we feel the same way about you, Russell.
Thank you. This is where I want to invest my time. Rhonda, you are an amazing facilitator extraordinaire. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you. They threw me into this job.
Rhonda's the Paul Lynde of the Hollywood Squares tonight, right in the middle.
Yeah, I am. Okay. I don't have those lines. I wish I did.
I'm gonna help you out tonight, Rhonda. Shit. There's 3 things for your jar.
Here's my jar.
Rhonda's getting a bonus tonight.
Yeah. Okay.
This is all
Okay.
good.
All right.
I'll see you all at 4:30 in the morning.
Everybody stay healthy. We'll look forward to seeing you next week. Wendy, I am in town next week, not working at a dealership. I will be on you inside of AI, and I'm sorry if I've been missing in action.
Oh, I thought you meant in town, like here in Surprise, Arizona. I was gonna say, April, let's get him for lunch.
I know. I thought
Yes.
that for a minute. I'm half tempted to just fly out there and do that.
You know
And-
what? Me too.
and-
It's so much fun hanging with that crew.
We'll have lunch with
I
April.
think the more we pull together, the more fun we'll have and the more productive.
And for those who are not aware, tomorrow night at 8 o'clock
because
Eastern.
this always seems to be an open-minded, fun group.
So again, tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern on Clubhouse is automotive innovators and disruptors Clubhouse call that I've started up.
Such a catchy
And,
name, man.
We've had some great conversations on that one.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Rock
you
and
so
roll.
much,
Peter, I'll be on that the
everybody.
following Thursday.
Peace out. Look at
back.
that fireworks
Take care.
going off. What a way to
Isn't
end.
that cool? Have you? Okay,
Stay healthy, everybody.
Go ahead,
it
April.
happens automatically. Have you guys seen this? You want to talk about AI? That is AI doing that. Like
Where are we-
Apple
how do you-
just, it's one of the most recent Apple updates. So when I did this,
It did.
Oh,
Whoa.
that's cool.
Can
I
I
love
do
it.
that too?
So are you
on the phone?
are you encouraging me to flip from Android to Apple?
I encourage
Oh.
everyone to flip to Apple because the blue is where it's at, baby. Blue is where it's at.
There you go.
Apple. I mean,
Apple
I got
forever,
Apple,
baby.
but
April, how do I do
what are you
that?
talking about, April?
She's on a
You've got a
phone.
background on, Wendy.
It's-
I don't think it'll work if you don't
I'm
have a
sure it's,
background on.
I'm sure
Oh.
it's a setting. It's just a setting. I'm sure.
Oh my
Okay.
Oh,
goodness.
I
I
didn't even
don't-
do it. It just started doing it. Sometimes when I'm talking, if I say, I'm thinking about something, it'll pop up like a little think window. And
Really?
like it's,
Have you
Yeah, it's cool.
You're on
customized
your phone now.
the portrait? You can change the studio lighting. You can change the portrait filter, and you can change how the microphone operates as well if you're doing it from your Mac laptop.
So I have this
how
pop up.
fancy is all that?
I have this
That is
pop up
awesome.
about AI companion. It says I can enable it. Then
No,
what
it's the
happens?
actual Zoom, the Zoom icon that sits in the Apple tray. It's green. It glows green during the Zoom events on your Apple MacBook. So you can
Oh,
click it,
God.
and there's 3 different settings that you can play with, including the celebrations. And one of the celebrations is the fireworks. One of the celebrations is the thumb up. I don't remember what they all are, but there's like 12 of them.
Look
And it's
at
all
you,
in
If I
techie.
click it, I'm not going to blow anything up.
No,
No, you'll be good.
Okay.
Okay.
I still love
Okay,
you,
sorry.
Apple people. Okay.
All right. Good night, everybody.
see ya.
Bye.
Have a good
All
one.
As
right.
usual.
Have a
much
great night.